How concerned do you think European football should be? How challenged will it be by the Saudi Pro League?
I think right now it's a slight worry that could certainly grow, and that was my fear over the summer. I don't think it's quite materialised the way I first feared, in that it still feels like it's players who are coming to the end of their career who are still making that move. My fear when the transfer window was open in the middle of the summer was we just need one player who's maybe what we'd class in his prime, and then that could just be a knock-on effect and lots of players going. Now, it's nothing against Saudi Arabia's league as such, but I just think with the money involved, that's why people are going there, it's obvious, that I think it'd be a real sad day for football if players in their prime were not playing in the biggest leagues, which are the Premier League, La Liga, Serie, the Bundesliga, and the Champions League. And not just because we do this show. This, for me, is the cream of the crop. Even more, probably better quality than international football. And I think if players in the prime were giving up that to go somewhere just for money, I think it'd be a really sad day for football. But I don't think we're there yet.
They won't though, will they? I mean, when you said there was grumbles about Mbappe going, if Mbappe would have went there, it would have been a sad day, I think, for European football. I don't think there's a real worry. I believe that the best players still want to play in Europe, in the Champions League, still the biggest league. Yeah, there will be players who go there, of course. I always think it's them players who are sort of not quite ready for the top four, and they're thinking, okay, well, where can I go to get my last big payday? We've seen it with China. Do you remember the Chelsea boy Oscar went out there? And yeah, they will have their time. It might last for a couple of years, but ultimately, I think the best players still want to play in Europe.
What if you're American soccer and MLS? How concerned should you be about this development?
Yeah, that's more of a concern, I think. I would say exactly what Jamie and Micah said about. I don't think that yet European football is in danger. I will mention Kylian. I think Kylian saved the day, because I think if Kylian went, then it would have been a bit different. I think a lot of people would have followed around his age and what he does represent. So I was happy that he didn't go. You can understand some of the guys that won what they won at a certain age and went there. But I think, yes, the MLS and other leagues will suffer because they're not getting the players that they used to get. I went to the MLS, for example. It was because I also choose a certain lifestyle. I wanted to be in New York, still playing football. So I went there. But, you know, one of the main concerns, I guess, with the league in Saudi Arabia is that it's the human rights that are bothering people a lot, and how they feel about the LGBTQ plus community. That's what people, I think, are upset with, why some of the players are going there, because of the human rights and what I just mentioned before, and so it becomes a problem. But when you talk about money, you know, we've seen it before. We've seen players sometimes leaving South America, leaving their country, leaving Africa, leaving other countries in Europe to get a better life and earn more money, which we can all understand, because I've been in a situation where, like, who will refuse what they've been offered? Well, Kylian did. I don't know about the rest of the world. I wasn't, for example, in that situation with that league, and I mentioned it here on the show before. I've been offered 5 times my salary at the time. I stayed where I was. So
that was when you was in your prime?
Yeah. No, I know. Like Kylian, I'm just saying that I refused it. But some people sometimes talk without being in that position. What's your motivation? It depends. Like, I'm sure Jamie would never have left Liverpool because Liverpool is everything for him. But some people have different motivations. For some people, it's money. And when it comes to money, at times, people react a different way. But when it comes to human rights and what we talked about before, then it can be obviously a problem for a lot of people. But I'm nobody to judge anyone, you know, and sometimes when people ask me, do you think they should have done this or done that? I'm not in someone's shoe to know exactly how he is at that particular moment when he's going to take that decision. I know I didn't do it. It wasn't the same, you know, A, B, talking about where I was or where I was supposed to go, but the salary was the same, 5 times my salary. I didn't go.
Do you judge anybody who does choose that and make that decision and make that choice?
No, I'm a little bit with Thierry, because I think until you're in that position yourself, it's easy to say, oh, he shouldn't have done that, or he shouldn't have done that. But what I would say, Thierry just mentioned, because I was at Liverpool, now a lot of players from Liverpool have gone this summer. And I do view them differently in the situations that they're in. And this is just purely from a footballing point of view, in that Jordan Henderson is the one player who has been heavily criticised. I haven't really seen anybody else get criticised. I'm not sure about, you know, maybe in Spain with Benzema or players from different countries, I'm not sure. But in England, it's mainly just been Jordan Henderson and nobody else. Now, the thing with Jordan Henderson was he was the captain of Liverpool at the time when he left. Now, I put myself in his position, and I probably think if I was the captain of Liverpool, yes, he may not have played as much going forward. You know, that was clear. But I'm not sure I would have given that up. If I'm being totally honest, I was captain of Liverpool. Roberto Firmino, whose contract had come to an end and was a real big part player for the last 2 years, I can understand. You know, I get that. So I can understand Roberto Firmino going there.
So it depends on the personal circumstances.
Yeah, everyone's got a different story, and that goes back to Thierry. Until you're in those shoes, you can't really say. But looking from my own club's point of view, that's how I see both of those situations. But what you've also got to say is, we're criticising players for going, and different reasons for why they're going. But no one's criticising the clubs. There's a lot of Premier League clubs, especially, who are absolutely delighted
to cash in.
Especially Liverpool. Let's be totally honest about it. Liverpool got over 50 million for 2 players who looked like last season they were coming to the end of their Liverpool career, or playing week in, week out, in Fabinho and Jordan Henderson. So we can point the fingers at players, and you know, rightly so. But also, there's a lot of clubs out there who are thinking, when they can't shift a player, I hope a Saudi club comes in.
It always falls on the players, and I think at times, yes, players are powerful. They should stand for something, but not only them. Like, everybody is involved in football, and it always falls to the players. It's the same thing when the World Cup was in Qatar. Suddenly they all come and ask the players not to go, and like they're not going to play the World Cup. Like, you have politicians that should be dealing with that. And so sometimes I feel like the players are taken hostage, if you know what I mean. Like, what are you going to do about it? You're like, well, the World Cup is in Qatar. Like, what do you want me to do about it? I want to play the World Cup, you know. I could see it with the players. They didn't know what to say. They don't know what to do. And politicians are there to do their job also. So why is always sport and players, which I understand that we can move stuff. Don't get me wrong. But don't forget about the politicians that are not sometimes coming out and talk when they should talk.